This guy.
Oh, I think.
Okay, so how about this? The floor of a shed has an area of 88 square feet. The floor is in the shape of a rectangle whose length is 5 feet less than twice the width. Find the length and
W
width of the
times
floor.
W minus 5 equals 88.
Okay, so if we call the width, we'll call W, how about?
Yes.
Okay, I like that. So the width is W, then the length is 5 feet less than twice the width. So how?
Is it two?
Minus 2W minus
2W.
There you go.
minus 5.
Everybody agree?
Yes.
So there are the dimensions. If the area of this whole thing is 88, how can I come up with an equation? How can I translate that into an equation?
2W minus 5 equals 8.
Okay, but how do I calculate area of a rectangle? Okay, good. So I got to multiply those two things. So W times 2W minus 5
Equals 88.
equals 88. So now I can flip into algebra mode. I've got an equation that I can solve.
Distribute the W.
Okay, good. I have to distribute the W first because I have to write this as a polynomial in standard form. So I got to distribute the W, and I get 2W squared minus 5W. What else could I do?
Make it equal to 0.
Make it equal to 0. So I've got to subtract the 88 over to this side, which is going to give me what on the left side?
Negative 88.
Yeah. And the whole thing is equal to
0.
0. It's in standard form, right? Okay, good. So I've got a polynomial equal to 0. How do I solve that?
Find something.
Do you have to multiply 2 times -88?
Okay, yeah, so I've got to factor the left side, right? Because the only way I'm going to know when this polynomial equals 0 is by factoring it into small pieces and using that zero product property, right? So I got to break it into factors, and I can use those factors to find the solutions. Okay, to do that, this is a slip and slide thing, isn't it? So we're going to do a little side work. When I want to factor this guy, we'll go over here. Okay, first step in slip and slide is what?
Multiply 2.
Slip. Yeah, slip the 2 over and multiply by the negative 88. And that's going to give me a basic polynomial that I can factor more easily, right? So W squared minus 5W minus 176. Okay, I might need to make a table here, though. So I've got to find magic numbers that do what? They add. Multiply to negative 176 and add to negative 5.
Negative.
Right. Okay, so I want to make a table. Am I going to search through pairs of numbers that multiply to negative 176 or pairs of numbers that add to negative 5? Add to negative 5. Yeah, I want to go, because when they multiply to a negative, it's easier to go that way, right? So that's our table. Let's make our table here. M times N has to equal negative 176. Okay, the bigger of the two is going to be negative 5 bigger than the positive, right? So let's just pick a value to start with here. What if I pick something like, I'm just going to say, how about like 14, negative 14, and what would equal negative 5? 9. So what if we multiply those? That's going to give me negative 126. So I need bigger numbers, don't I? So throw something out.
Negative
Negative 16.
Okay.
negative 16 and 11.
Yeah, 11.
Negative 16 and positive 11. Man, you got it.
What do you mean we got
Here,
it?
come
Yeah.
Okay. So there are my magic numbers. Okay. Negative 16 and positive 11. Okay, so we're going to break this thing up then. Okay, what do I do when I get the magic numbers?
Plug it in.
Two.
I divide by
Two.
2, the number I slipped. What do I do to the fractions?
Simple.
Simplify them, reduce them. So I get W minus 8 times W plus 11 over 2.
Or 5.2.
Last step.
Slide it under.
Put the two in front of the
Slide the 2. Okay, good. So I've got to slide that 2 up front, and I got it. Then that's going to give me my factored form, which is W minus 8 times 2W plus 11 equals 0. Okay? So it's factored. Last step would be zero product property, so I'll set each of these equal to 0 and solve. Well, what's the solution of that one? 8. Or, how about this one?
Is it like 11 over 2 or something? Or
Yeah,
2
that's the
over
one. If I set that equal to 0, I subtract the 11 and divide by 2. I get negative 11 over 2. Okay, keep in mind, where did I see those numbers? I saw them right there, didn't I? Right? Okay, so then those are my solutions. Now we've got to translate back to the problem. So which one of those could be the width? Positive 8 or negative 11 halves? Yeah, I can't have a negative width, can I?
Right, this is not how it works.
So this one we could cancel. And we know that the width is 8. So we can start plugging, we can answer this thing. We know that if the width is 8, let's plug, so that's 8. What's the length going to be?
2 times 8 minus 5.
Yeah, 2 times 8 minus 5, what's that?
16.
16 minus 5? 11. So we get 8 and 11 for the dimensions. 8 is the width, 11 is the length. Good? Okay? All right. Let's see, do we want to,
Oh, it canceled.
how about if we do, maybe we do one more of those, right? You want to do one more of those, just practice?
Yeah, might as
Simple
well.
slide?
Let's get
Okay, so if we factor this,
Let's get a little bit.
let's go over and do some side work. We got slip and slide. First step is slip and slide.
Yeah.
Okay, slip the 3 over and multiply by 5.
15. A squared plus
A
plus 15.
Okay, that's an easy one to factor.
Yeah, I mean, 1 times.
Remember that trick we just talked about? If the numbers have to add to something that's only 1 away from what they multiply
Is that
to,
number negative?
then there's a 1 in there somewhere. Yeah, so what are the numbers?
Plus 1.
Yeah, plus 1, plus 15. I immediately divide by 3. Good. What do I do?
Slide that 3 over in front of the A.
Okay, but before I slide, I have to reduce fractions.
So
Right.
5.
5.
And then finally, last step, move the 3 up, and I got it. My answer then is going to be 3a plus 1 times a plus 5. Good? Okay.